This is the McLeod RXT, and it is one of the most rowdy yet streetable clutches available on the site, capable of holding an insane amount of power. In fact, upwards of 1,000 horsepower in your manual 2005 to 2013 C6 Corvette, excluding the ZR1. Now, this particular combo does include the twin ceramic line disc RXT clutch, along with the matching McLeod 6-bolt steel flywheel, and can be had offered right around that $1,300 to $1,400 price point. So if you guys didn't know, McLeod does offer a wide variety of clutch options depending on your application. Now, the one we are looking at here today is one of the big dogs, the twin disc RXT, which is capable of holding upwards of 1,000 horsepower at the crank, and one that also just so happens to be paired up with the 6-bolt steel flywheel. Now, the flywheel in this case is a nice bonus, and it is going to be a great option for the daily drivers out there, or maybe even the weekend warriors, but not so much for the all-out racers. The reason being is that the inertia of a heavier steel flywheel here in this case is going to be beneficial for getting the car moving off the line and doing so smoothly without needing a ton of RPM. Now, a lighter flywheel, such as a billet aluminum option, on the other hand, will have its benefits for racing use, getting the car through the gears faster and reducing your rotational mass overall. Now, they do take a lot of RPM to get the car moving off the line, and they also do drop off more during shifts unless you're really banging those gears. So there is a pro and con to each. I would suggest talking to your tuner if that's the route you want to go with first to determine what is the best flywheel material for your ride. But getting back to the RXT and some of the features here, and if you guys didn't know, twin disc clutches are really a wonderful thing because you're going to get unparalleled holding capabilities thanks to the increased surface area of not one but two friction discs, but with a pedal feel and effort that won't really kill your leg. In fact, I would say very similar to stock in regards to engagement and overall effort. On top of that, dual disc clutches will cool off a bit faster compared to a Burley single disc, which is great because heat is ultimately the enemy of clutch performance. Now, the engagement will be a bit more aggressive here with the RXT compared to the RST, and that is due largely in part to the more aggressive friction disc material. So just keep that in mind, guys. If you don't need the 1,000 horsepower capability, the RST is going to swap the more aggressive clutch discs for an organic material, and that is going to make the clutch a lot easier to use or to slip. Now, there aren't too many cons here with these dual disc clutches outside of being a bit more expensive, but they can be a bit noisier as well due to the design of the twin disc clutch working with the floater plate. But typically, I would say added noise is minimal, especially if you're already rocking a louder exhaust. Getting into the construction specifics here at the 26-spline RXT, and again, your main star of the show here in this case will be the twin friction discs, both comprised of a ceramic line material, which is again going to be a bit more aggressive, but also be responsible for being able to hold all of that extra power compared to the RST. Now, those discs are separated by the floater plate, and McLeod does top everything off with their diaphragm style red pressure plate here, and of course does include that billet steel flywheel that we mentioned a bit earlier. Now, the SFI certified flywheel is CNC'd from a billet steel material, does feature that 1045 hardened steel ring gear, and it does weigh in, I would say, right around 25 to 28 pounds. Finally, guys, the clutch itself and the flywheel are both backed by the 90-day limited warranty, just in case you run into any issues right out of the box. Now, coming in at or around that $1,300 to $1,400 price point, the RXT flywheel combination will be an expensive combo, no doubt, but it's certainly not the most expensive combination when you're looking for a high horsepower twin disc clutch. For instance, we have options from X Clutch or Mantic that will far exceed the cost of the RXT. So again, not necessarily budget friendly per se, but when you're looking at the wide world of twin discs out there, it can get a bit expensive. The McLeod is certainly going to deliver a great performance for what I would say a very reasonable price point. All right, moving into the install, and hey, installing a new clutch is never an easy task, especially if you don't have a lift or the tools to get the job done. So that's why the site's gonna call this a full 3 out of 3 wrenches on the difficulty meter, and I would say at least 6 hours to complete from start to finish. So wrapping things up, guys, again, if you are looking for a proven clutch for a higher horsepower application that will still maintain great pedal feel and overall drivability, you have to consider the RXT clutch and flywheel combo from McLeod, available here at AmericanMuscle.com.